When you scroll through social media, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, it's normal to see pictures of kids and families posted online. But when does it cross the line and become a risk? Here is what you should know about sharenting.
Once it's on social media, it can be screenshotted, reshared, and it never really goes away.
You're telling me for four.
Woke up feeling cute today.
When you are uploading something, you are kind of giving away, the rights of those images and, that information.
I've been scared for my life.
A couple's first newborn baby, a first birthday, a first home run. Your feed is likely covered with kids, families, and traditions.
This new generation of parents, they really want, to kind of like show off their kids or, maybe even, create like a repository of, memories.
If you have kids or grandkids and post them online, are you guilty of sharenting too much?
Sharenting typically refers to parents talking about kids on social media.
Leah Plunkett is part of the faculty at Harvard Law School and is the author of the book Sharenthood, exploring how and why kids are shared on social media by their family.
You or your children can wind up divulging very intimate information that can, in some extreme instances, be used to target your kids for criminal, illegal, or dangerous activities.
And if you think this can't happen to me,
This is full-blown cyber stalking, and something needs to be done about it.
ask Mackenzie Byrne, a mom of 6 kids living in Findlay. We told you her story a few weeks ago, where someone made numerous accounts reposting photos of her kids, talking about kidnapping and hurting them.
So I commented on it and told him, I think you're mistaken. These are my babies. On which he responded, they won't be for very much longer.
Sharing your kids on social media is not an invitation to engage in threatening, dangerous, or potentially criminal or illegal behavior against you or your children.
You might be thinking, should you just not post your kids?
There's like one side which is a little bit extreme of not sharing anything, and then on one side you basically share everything, right? So I think the approach has to be somewhere in the middle.
Dr. Amit Javid is an associate professor in electrical engineering and computer science at the University of Toledo. He warns that living in a society still adjusting to the ever-changing AI world can be a whole different beast when it comes to kids.
There have been so much conversation about AI generated child pornography, and many incidents of extortion and things like that, right? Blackmailing and so on. Because in today's world, it is really hard to tell whether a content is generated using AI or is it real, right?
But posting on social media isn't all bad. It can link people and communities they might not have otherwise.
Maybe your child is really into baking, for instance, and by sharing their information, sharing some baking videos, you are helping them get connected to a network of others who also love to bake.
There's no right answer when it comes to posting your kids, but maybe ask yourself,
Think a little bit about what the goal is.
what are you trying to achieve by pressing publish? And what do you believe you should post? Plunkett says try to answer this question.
Would I get a poster board and write this update and put it in the middle of the town square where everyone in my community could see it? If the answer is yes, and I'd be comfortable with that, then it's probably okay. But if the answer is, oh my gosh, I would never put that on a poster board in the middle of my town square, then probably don't put it on social media.
So it's okay to celebrate the firsts. But first, ask yourself if you're sharenting with the right people. If you're looking to, let's say, post a family photo and you don't want on social media and there's kids in it, you want to blur their face, you can blur their face or maybe even put like a little emoji over them.
But there are other options out there for you, right?
Yeah, absolutely. You can even create a private group or private page, let's say, where it's just your kids. I know there's a feature on Instagram where you can create just a little private group. Maybe that's where you just keep your friends and families close, and that's where you keep your kids' photos. So lots of options out there, but it's really up to parents.
It's a scary time we live in right now, and imagine being a parent of 3.